Alright, hey guys, so this video is going to be a story time video, and we are going to tell you about our crazy trip to Scotland. This was last month, actually, yeah, this was last month, this was in June, and we were going for IBK's sister's graduation. Shout out to Itanu. But yeah, to start it off, okay, so I'm always looking at different like cheap flights. I'm following so many different travel blogs, travel blogs that, you know, send out cheap flights, glitch flights, all that kind of stuff. So I found one to Scotland, but it was through Iceland. But it was like really cheap. It was going from Boston to Iceland and then Iceland to Aberdeen. And it was only like $500 and something compared to a direct flight from Houston to Aberdeen was about like almost 2,000, right? Yeah. So I was like, yeah. So I bought that ticket, and then I just bought not a connecting flight, but I bought a separate flight from Houston to Boston, which was through Southwest, and Southwest is pretty cheap. So that was the setting. That's how this whole thing started, from one cheap ticket. Look, go on. I just get to sit here.
I know. You didn't tell me the plan. You didn't brief. I was just like, okay, what's going on?
So you don't know how to cook anymore?
No, you didn't. I didn't know what the plan for the. You just started shooting. I didn't know what the plan for the video was.
Well, we're just supposed to tell them our trips.
Anyways, so we take off from Houston, fly over to Boston, get there a nice premature 9 hours early. So 9 hours, my international behind thinks that obviously airports have locker rooms where you can just drop luggage off and come get it later. But apparently that's not really American. So we get there with our bags and we find out we can't drop it off. So we're all kind of stuck in the airport now because we planned to make a day of it in Boston, but now we can't because we don't want to be dragging these huge suitcases all over Boston. So we decided to just hang out and chill at the airport and just make the best of the situation. So that was fun. We spent a good 9 hours in the airport. No biggie. Got to know Boston airport pretty well. And so we take off to Iceland. Pretty decent flight. We're flying and I'm sleeping on the plane and we hear food is coming, and apparently on these international flights you pay for food like any normal, like they don't even give you peanuts for free. When do you fly from one side of an ocean to another side of the ocean and they don't even give you simple peanuts?
They gave me water. Water was free.
Oh yeah, great.
I think like soft drinks were free. But like,
I didn't get any soft drinks.
I don't know, but yeah.
I got water, no peanuts, no nuts, no cashews, no almonds.
In all fairness, the flight from Boston to Iceland was only 5 hours, so I can kind of understand.
When you fly Southwest from Houston to Dallas, you get nuts.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, sorry. Back to this. So we're flying and we get to Iceland and we're about to land, and the airport, the pilot says, sorry guys, there's so much fog, we can't land. Reason being, Iceland is a volcanic region, and so they have geothermal lakes that are hotter, that sometimes when the temperature between the ambient and the water is really wide,
don't need to get all dirty.
You start steaming from the water and it creates a huge fog. They should know why there's a fog in the first place.
They're just trying to think it's weather.
Okay, weather, whatever. There was weather problems, so we couldn't land. We're hovering around, and then the pilot says, oh, well guys, it looks like we are about to run out of fuel, so we're gonna fly to another city 45 minutes away to land, refuel, and wait for the fog to clear. So we get there, fly at 45 minutes to another city. I forgot the name of the place.
I can't remember.
Land, refuel, we're still on the plane, and we get back. Unfortunately, we had an hour and a half to lay over in Reykjavik, Iceland. And this whole shenanigans with the fog kind of took us away from schedule. So we missed our flight.
Yeah.
But then getting there, we hear, oh, we have 3 flights from Iceland to Aberdeen a day. I'm like, awesome. When are the other flights? 5 minutes from each other. So it's a flight at 7:55, 8 o'clock, and 8:05. So if you miss one, you have pretty much missed all the flights, because by the time you go turn in your stuff to try to get on the other flight's taken off. So yeah, that sucked. So we stay in line for 2 hours, and
yeah, because everybody on that flight basically was, you know, connecting to another city, another country in Europe. Because I mean, apparently Iceland Air has really cheap connecting flights. Everyone goes through Iceland to get to their other destination. So you have a line of probably, like, what do you think, 100 people?
maybe a little bit more.
A little bit more, all trying to figure out, and mind you, all these people have missed their connecting flight. And so, yeah, we ended up being in the line, because somehow we ended up at the end of the line, which I still don't understand how we ended up at the end of the line. But before we got to our turn, about a little bit more than 2 hours had passed by. This is just standing for 2 hours after being on a plane for 5 hours, and just, yeah, at this point I'm like, oh my god. But
Yeah. So we finally get our stuff, and we get to the counter, and they let us know that, okay, so there's no way we can make it to Aberdeen that day. So they try to put us in a hotel, and the quickest way to get to Aberdeen, because my sister's graduation was at 10 a.m. the next day, was to catch a flight out of their airport at 1 a.m. that night and fly to Copenhagen, and then from Copenhagen to Aberdeen, which was just another ordeal. But we will get there at 9 a.m., 1 hour before the graduation, which is awesome. And so we do that, and so they try to put us in a hotel. Find out the hotel is an hour bus ride from the airport. So we drive an hour to the hotel, finally get to eat, take a shower, sleep, and then start heading back to the airport to catch the flight at 1 a.m.
the good thing is we got to see Iceland, you know, through that 1 hour drive to the hotel. We got to kind of look around and see how Iceland was, so that was cool. Got to spend technically a whole day in Iceland, so yeah, it didn't get dark the whole time we were there. Like,
Nope.
I think our plane left at 1, and we looked outside, it looked like it was like 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was still bright. And yeah, so that was pretty intense. And so we flew to Copenhagen, and then from there to Aberdeen, and then had to take an hour ride to the graduation. And little did I know that Scottish graduations were just like an hour and a half long. So we thought, okay, we'll probably get there at 10 o'clock and or 10:30, and we will catch a little bit. We would have just missed the whole preamble before they start calling names. But before we knew it, by the time we got there, graduation was over. They were outside taking pictures. But as far as graduations are concerned, if you're there for the pictures, it means you were there for everything. So I was there for the pictures, so I can gladly say I was at my sister's graduation. But in the whole trip from Houston to Aberdeen took a little bit over 48 hours.
Yep, and with all of that, we only got about 2 hours of like sleep on a bed.
Yeah.
Everything else was just like, I had to do my makeup in the car, like driving to Dundee where the graduation was. Like I had to and mind you, I was so tired. Like, I was literally doing my makeup and falling asleep at the same time. Like it was just really, yeah. And then in all the pictures, I looked so tired, and I was just like, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ended up, we made it, and it was fun. And Scotland was fun. Aberdeen was fun. We went to, what did we do? Went to the mall there, walked around. It was funny because when we were there, Donald Trump was there, so that was interesting. Another thing that was interesting is that Iceland, this is, during the Euros and stuff, and when Iceland was whooping everybody in the Euros, we so happened to be in Iceland at that time, and the country was like empty because everyone was either at home watching the game or in, France watching the game in person. And yeah, because Iceland's only 300,000 people, so yeah. It was quite interesting. So anyway, so on our way back, I'm thinking like, okay, I really hope that this stretch is a lot easier, a lot more stress-free than our first stretch, because at this point I don't want to deal with anything. But we ended up going to the airport. We got there on time. Everything was fine. And then we get a notification that our flight is delayed. And this is our flight from Aberdeen to Boston. So our flight was delayed, and mind you, we have a connecting flight waiting for us in Boston to Houston. So automatically, I already knew we were gonna miss that connecting flight because we only had about 2 hours or so in between. So yeah, I just went ahead, went on my phone, and rescheduled. Thankfully, it's Southwest. Southwest was amazing with like rescheduling flights and canceling flights. So I just had to reschedule it to the next day. So we left Aberdeen about an hour and a half late. Got to Boston, went through customs, all that stuff. Long lines. And then we had to find a hotel to stay over the night because the flight that I had booked was the next day. And we ended up missing work as well because we had work on Monday, but clearly we weren't going to make it because our flight was going to land on that Monday. So we spent the night in Boston. That was kind of cool. We also had a little issue getting a hotel. Abike ended up spending money on the hotel, and they wouldn't give us back his money. He mistakenly made a reservation on a hotel, and he called them saying, I made a mistake. Can you refund me my money? And they were like, no. And at this time, we already booked another hotel, so it's like
in a span of 5 minutes after reserving, probably less than.
Yeah, so that was annoying. And then getting an Uber at the Boston airport.
They don't let Ubers to the airport.
It's like an ordeal. We called 2 Ubers.
Actually, more than that.
And they would say, "Hey, we're on our way. Where are you?" And I would, "Oh, we're in the limousine pickup, in Terminal E, whatever." And okay, we're on our way. 2 seconds later, your Uber has been canceled. This happened twice in a row, and I was just like, okay, this is weird. They kept canceling my Uber. I don't understand why. But finally, we got an Uber XL, whatever. We had to get Uber XL, so got to the hotel, extra tired, and we were both so grumpy and just yike.
It's not like we really got to sleep that much.
No, we did not at all. We were just fussing at each other because we were both just in a horrible mood and
Our
so
flight,
annoyed.
I think we got to the hotel probably 12. By the time we relaxed.
We landed at 9. We landed in Boston at 9. We didn't get to the hotel until 12.
Yeah, anyway, so by the time we got food and relaxed and we're ready to go to bed, it was probably 2. And our flight the next day was 5:30. So we had to wake up at 4 something to get ready and head out back to the airport. And yeah, it was just one painful travel experience.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, if you ask us, would we do it again?
Yes.
Yep.
We would, because nothing beats cheap tickets.
We saved about $2,000.
Yeah.
A little bit more than $2,000 by doing this route, so it was worth $2,000.
Because then,
I could use $2,000 for a lot more.
yeah, and then you also have the opportunity to share the story of your crazy ass travel experience.
Yeah, everyone felt so bad for us. Oh, you know, like Nigerian parents, who sent you? Who told you to go and be buying tickets that you don't know where? But nah, it was funny, and yeah, it was an experience. So yeah, that's our story. Would I recommend you to use Iceland Air? Yeah, because they have cheap tickets. Just know what you're,
If you have time to spare, sure.
Yeah, know what you're getting yourself into. I mean, at the end of the day, none of it was really their fault. Like, their delayed flights was because of weather. We couldn't land initially because of weather. So it's
but their logistics and planning were a little bit off. Puts in 3 flights within 5 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
I don't think that's very smart. But
then it's a small airport. It's not that small, but it's a newer airport, and it's like in a really small country. So have to kind of bear that in mind. But
yeah, what do I know?
Yep, that's our story. Thanks for watching. Talk to y'all later.
Deuces.